does these little cans. See how I messed up that can. I'm going to do my best to try to film this entire process from start to finish. I usually just forget to set the camera up and I do something and then I'm just like, whoops. So I've got somewhat of an idea about how I'm going to do this. So this blue piece of pipe here, can get a better angle on it. Is that better? Right there. So this blue piece of pipe is going to go like right about there. And I'm going to put a piece of all thread in here and then weld a bracket onto the all thread. And it's going to come up here and get hit by that, and it's going to push it out, and then on the other side it's going to pull, and so then when it pulls I'm going to have to make it to where the flap that's going to hold the cans will get pushed out of the way, and then once this passes the deal it'll flop back this way, that way, which will make the flap fall back in and hold the cans. So alright, so I think I got it figured out what I want to do. I'm going to have a pipe down here on the bottom that holds a shaft that is attached to a lever that will get hit by this, and that will cause the shaft to rotate. I'm going to put another tube up here and then cut the middle out, put another shaft in here, and then take a section of this pipe here, cut it in half so I have a half round, and it'll sit like this, and then when the shaft gets rotated, it'll lift up out of the way and let the can fall in, and then it'll go back in place, pushing the next can back so it doesn't get caught. That's the plan. Alright, so this is going to go somewhat like this. So we're going to cut right there and right there. Give us a little bit of room. Well, since all my cutting wheels are pretty much gone, I get to use the Sawzall, which isn't any fun. Actually, what am I Forgot I had my die grinder. It's got a cutting wheel on it. Right. That would have been funny cutting through the all thread. Just not quite big enough to get through, of course. Guess I'll finish it up with the air saw, or the sawzall, I mean. Gonna go like that. This guy's gonna go on here like that. Looks like it'll clear. The loads fit? Nope. 3/8 washers. Sometimes they're big enough. Man, that barely doesn't fit. There. Just need to find another one. There. Clean that up a little. Alrighty. Working with a little bit thicker material, so I'm going to bump it back up. I wonder if that's a good enough connection. It might not be. We'll find out. Oh yeah, we got our. That'll work. How much do we have? What do we got? on the tight side. We'll have to do. The heck was that? All right. Alrighty, now need to get a big washer on here. That'll be our pulley, but I think I might put a new nut, sandwich it. About there. 5/8. So that's going to turn like that. And when it turns like that, it's going to pull this like that. That's to pull it a lot. The question is, will it pull it enough? So it's going to go like that, and then it's going to come back and push that. And then that's going to get crushed. How much does it need to move to drop into the... So if it's holding it right there, and then it goes... Not even, it doesn't even look like that's a maybe quarter of a turn. I'm just thinking maybe I should put a bigger washer on here. Could just put a lever on there. I think I might just do something like this. I got more of these. So I just got to drill this out to 1/2 inch. Alrighty. Got this drilled out. This is going to go on here like this. Leaving this unwelded for now, just in case I need to make adjustments. Like that. It needs to be in the hold position more so than the dump position. Yep, it'll be held. You won't ever be able to. So that's holding right there. That's dump. Go and then back to hold, dump, hold, dump. Alright, now we just need to weld our tube onto here and then get our all thread into there and basically do what we did here, put the all thread in, stand by. I'm going to be welding this right about here. I'm going to try to stay in line, you know, right about there. Or not. A little better. Forgot I'm on C. I need to go back down to the B. Ooh, it's a little hot. Blowing right through it. Alright, that feels pretty sturdy. I think I'll put one weld on the bottom just for good measure. Oh, and I don't have any. Yeah. There we go. All right. Now we need to measure for all thread. Let's do a 2-foot piece. 26-inch piece. I did not like going through that all thread. Alright. Stick that in there. Go get another bracket. Gotta drill these out. Yep. I'm gonna go like there. So probably should try to match it like that so that when that pulls, the geometry stays. That. We should try to line those up. That might be a good idea. What we need is another nut on that side to keep this from moving. Figures. All right. Loosen those back up. There. Alright. We want it to come out some more. I think this piece of 1 inch I got here is a little bent. Alright. That. There. Alright, so that will be for our adjustment. So they're not running parallel with each other. It's about how they should be. And then of course, I don't know what I was expecting. I think I might have had it on the wrong side. Alright, well, I'm not going to worry about that for right now. So that's going to go about right there. And then we're going to need this lever. Let's see. The lever that's going to go right here up to here is going to need to be long, and then it's going to have a paddle on it. As this hits it, it's going to come around and push it out enough for that to fall. So what we should do is measure from here to here and make that bracket. Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll get to this one. I think these holes in these brackets are 3/8. Alright, so we've got From there to there, it's about 12 1/4. So that's whole center to whole center. So 12 1/4. I should write that down. Let's go. Too much dirt on here. The marker won't want to write. Center to center. 12.25. Yeah, I can't really read that. All right. Here we go. Alrighty. You're way off camera. Why are you off camera? Right there. Up a little. Right about there, I think. Alrighty. Bar. Got some bolts. Nylon lock nuts come in handy. Washer. See if we have enough room for the washer and the lock nut. Maybe barely. Nope. Maybe we'll have to get rid of the washer. Maybe get rid of both washers. Of course, you know, the bolt had to be that length. Alright, that feels like it's going to engage the nylon lock washer, or lock nut. I think we're at 9/16. Don't want it to be super loose. Don't want it to be super tight either. Still got a lot of play, good. That's about right there. Ready? And we have the other one. It's got kind of a built-in washer on it. Maybe there's, looks like there's enough room for the washer on the other side. Alright. Might be a little too tight. Loosen it up a little. These will be able to go back to like right there. I think needs to be the resting position for the lever. We're going to put it up like that, and then that's going to sit like right there. You don't want that to move. Right there. so that's gonna go like that. We just have to have like a means to all right, back to this. All right, so this is gonna go, the arm's gonna hit it, that's gonna go like that and then come back. I think that'll work. Yep, rests up against there. More. These will probably come like to there, and then they'll come back like that. Plenty of clearance. Ooh, we should get a little can and test that. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I think that's gonna stop that. Those little ones too. So that'll work. All right, now we just have to work on the this lever right here. We got to go from here up to here, and then have some kind of thing that it hits, pushes it, but it can't push it too much because then it'll just want to fall like that. So there has to be a counterweight. Yeah, so the lever would have to have a counterweight over here so it doesn't want to go past that and fall down like that. Alright, so I'm going to come up like that, and then we might bend a piece of metal. Like how wobbly that is. There's a set screw on the pillow block, but I forget how I can't remember how I got the crankshaft. I think literally it's just friction fit. Yeah, that's just friction fit. It doesn't really... Ha! I can spin the shaft, but it still works. Alright, piece of metal. Alrighty, so this is gonna go up like that. So it needs to be about a foot. I think we can do a foot. And we'll drill a 1/2-inch hole. And then we might weld and then bend. And then weld on like a counterweight. I might even put in a stop. That might be a better idea. But I still need it to return to its resting position, so counterweight will probably be what I got to do. Alright, so I'm going to go cut a 12-inch bar and put a hole at 3/4. Yep. Alright, stand by. Alrighty. Right about there. On play. Alright. Go on like that. Oh, yeah, we don't want to hit the teeth. We'll definitely have to have a limit. There. You can always just put a little bar that reaches over to here to keep it from hitting the teeth on the flex plate. Matter of fact, I think we'll put that in here now. A lot of play. That's okay. That's the name, that's the theme that I have. As long as it works, right? So we need to put a stop in here onto there. And we can even have it hang past this bar right here and then put our counterweight down here. And then that'll wipe out 2 stones with 1 bird. So, and then we just need to put our, it needs to be at a good enough angle so it doesn't just slam up against it. I mean, it's got a, so it's in the locked position. And then, I don't know if you can see that from there. Let's see. Let's go around to the other side. Push the button. All right, so that's, we're still recording. So it's gonna hit the lever all the way to there, and then it's gonna come back via the counterweight. Hopefully we have enough room. See if this is there. Yeah, I think we'll have enough room. Counterweight will be on a cable. We'll see how that works. Anyways. Alrighty, so right here I've got a little piece of steel. Got a hole in it for running the cable through it. I'm gonna make sure we got a decent enough little gap there. And then make sure that's not touching there. Put our clamp down a little bit. It's gonna go like that, and that's gonna lift up like that and stop. down right to there. I think those 2 welds ought to be enough. Alrighty. Uh-oh. I don't think it's ever going to want to go that way. Well, if it ends up being an issue, then the grinder will come out. Alright, so now we need to make our lever that's gonna stick. It's gotta be like, we'll grab that other piece of steel. So if it was like that, it would break. So it needs to be like that. Because that's gonna push it. Needs to be a somewhat of it. I'm gonna go put a bend on this. Well, it looks like we gotta clear off everything off of here. We're gonna clamp this guy into place. It up a little bit. Get it good and tight. Did that clear enough? That is locked down. We have so much play in this thing. It's my choice of using all thread. Alright, so this is gonna be spinning around like this. Crushes a can. Comes back around. Hits this. Can falls in. And then counterweight pulls it back. Wonder if I could, I think I might be able to put a little bit more of a bend on it. I also need to get the counterweight hooked up to it. So I'll do that right now. Alright. So here's my counterweight. Here's the end of the cable. I'm about ready to run through that hole right there. And then I just got a chunk of, this is I think 3/8 inch steel plate that I chopped off of something. Angle, I think it was, because I was using the angle. And then I got one of these little guys right here. These show up all the time, so put them to use is what I say. They're not really supporting massive loads, so you don't have to worry too much about them slipping out. hopefully we can get it tightened down. Some of them, they won't tighten down all the way if you're using too small a cable. Yeah, that'll work. All right, now let's see. All right. So we're going to be coming around, crushing a can. And that's going to get hit there. Yeah, I think it definitely needs a better angle. Lets the can do not make it fall. Yep, counterweight didn't work. I should take the ground clamp off. Ooh, that's hitting up there too. And the cans get stuck. Take that one out. We'll load it up with some cans. Of course, my loop is catching on the bar, so we might need more counterweight. Yeah, the loop's not even pulled tight. Let's get some more metal on it. All right, we've got these guys right here. These are 3/8 inch thick steel pieces I cut with my hole saw for a project. All right, we're gonna loosen this up just a little. Or a little more. There we go. Of course, if you ever worked with cable before, it's one of the worst things you can ever work with, because these little wires will bend out of shape, and then next thing you know, your finger hurts because you've stabbed yourself with one of them, and it's not fun. It feels a lot heavier now. Yep, really heavy. Alright, I think I'm going to put the loop way down. Like right there. That ought to prevent it from hitting. If the cable will cooperate, that is. That poking through in our nut driver. Tighten it up. Here we go. Our pop can, it's clear. All right, it's coming around, crushes the can, hits the bar, and the can did not fall because it did not open enough. Woo! Getting a little lopsided here. All right, so it needs to be longer. Oh, look at that. That's the problem right there. Can you see that? No, you can't. All right, we'll move it up a little bit. Right there. Yeah. So that is, so we need to angle it down so as it rides up, still not letting it go. We got all that play because of the all thread. We might end up replacing the all thread, or maybe making some. We might be able to fit a nut inside the tube and drill it out to 1/2 inch. Put it on each end of the pipe that the all thread goes through, and see what that does. Go ahead and put this all the way down. Gonna hit that, raise up. Still doesn't drop the can though. So we're just missing a. Barely doesn't want to do it. All right, so I need to. My counterweight's good. This needs to come back all the way to there. Wow. Got all these holes on here, but no, I can't do anything with there, otherwise it would get hit. If I had another piece of pipe connected to a bar, but then it would have to oh yeah, we got our poppy can in the way. Now we got a counterweight that wants to be a pain in the butt. This is fun. So we had a connecting rod going from here to here. As soon as it starts going there, it's we're not even crushing a can yet, so we have to be, we're crushing the can and coming back. I think I need to just put a more bend on it and then extend it out. And then put it down as low as I can. So when it does ride up, it'll... Alright, that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so I put a little mark on my pipe here. You see it? And watched as it basically stays in the middle of the bar as it lifts up. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is take, of course, take this bearing right here. It came off of the 10-inch radial arm saw, and got to make brackets for it. But I'm going to mount this to where that's pretty much right smack dab in the middle, and then hopefully that'll swing around and ride right against there at this angle, and then have that be enough to make it move the bar, or the open that up enough. Fun times. Well, while I was looking around for some metal to make the little bracket for the bearing, this little piece of metal laying on the ground was calling my name and said, "Use me!" And I'm like, well, the heck, I think I'll just try welding it on, making an extension, see if that's enough to get it. And then we'll turn this thing on and see what kind of carnage it causes. Let's see what that did. Right. That's a little hot. All right, so there's that. Still not enough. Let's go bend it a little. I don't know if it'll work. Pushing, pushing, pushing. Pushing, 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 pushing. Still nothing. Maybe we need to straighten that angle out a little. Put it on this side. Oh, so close. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. pushing, and it slips past. Needs to be like right there. They dropped one. Nice. Yeah, it literally needs to be like scraping the flex plate. Alright. Coming around, strikes this. Almost, but it's still dropped. Needs to stay below. Hits that. We're going about this all wrong. Whoops. Guess I'll just crush that can. Crush. Alright. Alright, I think, let's try this. Still not. Alright. The lower down it is, the more it's going to move the other arm, if my brain's working correctly, which it might not be. Okay, I think I figured it out after, almost losing my mind. But basically what I did was I extended this out and drilled a hole through this piece of pipe, and I did the same thing with the bar over there and connected it with this flimsy little piece of metal, which will be replaced with a better flimsy piece of metal. And then, so here's that. I'm gonna plug it in and turn it on, and we'll see if it holds it while the can gets crushed. Alright, here we go. Okay, so it's not doing it enough. So it needs a little more. Which means I just have to cut the pipe down some. I just shorten the pipe a little bit. That should give us a little bit more movement. So a little bit further reach, and hopefully it'll let it open up. All right, here we go. Okay, so the cans just aren't moving fast enough. Not enough weight, which I think I need to change the angle of this loading tray. The next project for this can crusher is going to be a hopper that I can just dump the cans into, and it'll hopefully arrange the cans so that they'll fall into the crusher perfectly. All right, here we go. I think I see the problem. We have one lever moving a lot, and we have one lever moving a little. And a mangled pop can. Yeah, I think this moved on me. 3/4. No. Stay like that. I think that's working. Look at that. Oh! It was working until it got down to the last one. Seems to be working. You got to see this mess. Well, not mess, I mean mechanical genius. Look at this big old thing. And then there's the weights down there. If you get close to that, it's going to chop your hand off. I love it. That's all. Alrighty. Still not in the shot. Anyway, so after getting rid of the whole lever thing that this is going to hit, it was pretty violent. I just decided to try to come up with some kind of linkage here, and that just makes it a lot smoother. Now I can get rid of my weights here because I don't have to rely on gravity to make this thing close. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to replace this bracket here with something a little more substantial. And then I have to raise or change the angle of the magazine so that the cans have more gravity pushing on them so that they'll fall into place and not barely fall or halfway fall and then get smashed before they fall into place. Stand by. Alright, so there's my new and improved bracket made out of some cheap tube steel. That's a rivet from its previous life that I just didn't care to take out. I just cut some oblongated holes with the hole saw. Really fun. And it works. And then I had to bust all of these welds right here so I could change the angle of the feed tube. And I just have to weld it down here and do some more welds. And then we'll go from there. Well, I think I got it all situated. I raised up the rack, the magazine, to be at more of an angle so the cans would want to fall more, because they seem to just want to sit sometimes. Hopefully that's going to work. This is all linked together. I haven't welded these together yet. This one needs to be welded to that shaft, and this one down here needs to be welded to that shaft, and this one needs to be welded to that shaft. But once it goes through quite a few cans and I'm happy with it, then I'll do that right, or I'll weld it all up. And then one thing else I did was I extended the ram out a little bit to crush a little better. Pretty much the thickness, it gets down to about half. So that'll mean about a bunch more cans in each bag. These bags aren't cheap. Here in the Arizona sun, the plastic disintegrates. So anyways, here we go for a little bit of can crushing fun. Uh-oh. Did not like that. I think it all moved now. Yep. That got moved. So it happened right at the last can. It got turned and got crushed wrong, and that did not make the can crusher happy. I can't have that happen. Gotta find my wrenches. Stand by. Alrighty. This thing goes fast, so it's hard to keep up. And then it's hard to feed the magazine once it's going, it gets all the way down here. So it's just best to shut it off. Ideally, I'm going to build a hopper that can keep the magazine fed, and I might shorten the magazine just because it actually is longer than it needs to be. Ideally, I would take one of these bags of cans here and just dump it into a hopper, and then the hopper would agitate the cans to where they fall into a pattern next to each other, and then fall into the magazine, like have the hopper like right here, and then have it just drop them. Because cans don't like to cooperate. They turn sideways, they They go crazy. So that's full right there. Here you go. Empty can. That was okay. Still had issues with that last one. Cool.